अफगानिस्तान हमारे पड़ोसी मुल्क में 20 साल के बाद तालिबान की सरकार ने कब्जा किया। वहां के हालात बदले हैं, वहां का माहौल बदला है, राजनीतिक परिदृश्य बदला है, अधिकारों के क्षेत्र बदले हैं। आई कैन से एवरीथिंग चेंज देयर। वहां से बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग रहे जिन्होंने तालिबान के आते ही अपना मुल्क छोड़कर पड़ोसी मुल्क या किसी और देश में जाकर शरण ली। लेकिन कुछ लोग ऐसे भी थे जो वहां अंतिम समय तक डटे रहे, और जब तक उन्हें नहीं लगा कि हमें अपना देश छोड़ना चाहिए या फिर अपने देश पर काबिज तालिबान सरकार के आते ही उन्होंने खुद को नई लड़ाई के लिए तैयार करने के लिए वहां से हटाया और दूसरी जगह जाकर नए सिरे से एक बार फिर नई तालिबान सरकार जो वहां आई है और जो हालात उनके मुल्क में पैदा हुए हैं उससे कैसे लड़ा जाएगा उसकी तैयारी करनी शुरू कर दी। आज हमारे साथ अफगानिस्तान के मशहूर जर्नलिस्ट हामिद समर हैं। हामिद एक ऐसे पत्रकार रहे हैं जिन्होंने वहां आतंक के खिलाफ आवाज उठाई, वहां अधिकारों के लिए आवाज उठाई। हामिद दुनिया के पहले ऐसे जर्नलिस्ट भी हैं जिन्होंने जैन टीवी के नाम से एक ऐसा चैनल वहां एस्टैब्लिश किया जिसमें सिर्फ महिलाएं काम करती थी। वहां का क्रू, वहां का स्टैंडर्ड, वहां के कैमरामैन, वहां की एंकर, टेक्निकल, वहां के असिस्टेंट्स और जो भी उस चैनल को हैंडल करता था वो सारी महिलाएं थी। अफगानिस्तान जैसे मुल्क में जहां आज तालिबान महिलाओं को बुर्के में लपेट रहा है, उनकी शिक्षा को बंद किया जा रहा है, स्कूलों से जाने के लिए उनके रास्ते रोक दिए गए हैं, हामिद समर ने अपने चैनल के जरिए, अपनी पत्रकारिता के जरिए, अपने काम के जरिए उन रास्तों को खोलने की कोशिश की। हामिद समर अब अमेरिका के पेंसिल्वेनिया शहर में रहते हैं। आज वो हमारे साथ हैं और बहुत सालों से हम उनको जानते हैं, लेकिन जब से अफगानिस्तान में सरकार बदली तब से हिंदुस्तान के सभी चैनल वाले उनसे संपर्क करना चाहते थे। हामिद ने किसी से बात नहीं की। आज पहली बार वो किसी से बात कर रहे हैं। किसी चैनल के लिए उन्होंने अपने आप को तैयार किया है। दिल्ली इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल के यूट्यूब न्यूज चैनल डिफ न्यूज में आज वो हमारे साथ हैं। महीनों के बाद हम उनसे जानेंगे कि आज वो जिस शहर में अमेरिका में रहते हैं वहां उन्होंने फिर से खुद को कैसे खड़ा किया है और वापस अपने घर अफगानिस्तान लौटने के लिए उनकी क्या तैयारी है। वहां उन्होंने अपना चैनल फिर से एस्टैब्लिश किया है, एक नई लड़ाई की तैयारी शुरू की है। उनसे जानेंगे उनके बारे में, उनके संघर्ष के बारे में और उनके परिवार के बारे में और उनके देश और उस सत्ता के बारे में जो आज उनकी मर्जी के खिलाफ वहां काबिज है। हामिद, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका दिल्ली इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल के चैनल डिफ न्यूज में। आपका बहुत स्वागत है। वेलकम टू अवर चैनल डिफ न्यूज। सलाम। सबसे पहले हम आपको धन्यवाद देना चाहते हैं कि आप पहली बार अफगानिस्तान में इतने मशहूर जर्नलिस्ट होते हुए, खतरों से लड़ते हुए आपने वहां चैनल शुरू किया, लेकिन जब हालात बिगड़े तो हिंदुस्तान के बहुत सारे चैनल्स ने आपसे बात करने की कोशिश की, लेकिन आपने किसी से बात नहीं की क्योंकि आपको वहां अपने आप को उस मुल्क में आतंकियों से बचा कर रखते हुए एक नई लड़ाई शुरू करनी थी। तो पहली बार आज आप हमसे बात कर रहे हैं। एक तो इसकी वजह, दूसरा अमेरिका में रहते हुए अब नए सिरे से आप अपने मुल्क के लिए इस लड़ाई की शुरुआत फिर से कैसे कर रहे हैं?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much, Mr. Ramdan, for the daily international news channels, and namaskar to सब दर्शकों के लिए जो just they are seeing the this program. The Afghanistan situation would become suddenly very worst. We never accept that what will be happening in the country just in a very short times, that it was unacceptable for most of the Afghan, not only me, that everything is just changed like in a very short time. And even no one was ready to know what will be happening, that because when the Taliban was from the capital of the Kabul, like everyone was thinking it was impossible that Taliban come to the Kabul. Just like less than 24 hours that everything is changed. The administrations that we had, like everyone was just escaped, and the Taliban, they took over the Kabul. And I was like for 5 days on the first days, because when the Taliban, they arrived in Afghanistan, like the situation was like, everyone was, they really afraid from the times that when the Taliban was just arrived in Kabul. We thought that the same things will repeat the same on 1998 or 1995, something like that. But on the same times, we received like not only from the India, from most of the other international news channels around the world, that they should have like interview, because I was a founder of the first woman TV station in Afghanistan, that I established the first woman TV station in Afghanistan. Like everyone was just trying to reach us, that what's the current situation that we had. But unfortunately, due to security, we were not able to do the interview. We were not able to come on the screens, because even I was just turned off my mobile. I thought that there might be something happen, because when the Taliban, they arrived in Kabul on the first day, I left my house, I left the office and everything, and I just ran out with my kids to one of my relative house. And after like 5 or 6 days, I was finally to just move out to Qatar, from Qatar to Germany by my US colleague, and then I just came to the USA and just settled. It's very difficult, when you're leaving your country. It's not easy. Like just the countries like आपका देश, आपका मुल्क, वो बिल्कुल, it's very difficult, especially when you have the active person in your country, like you have achievement for 20 years in your country. It's not easy that you can left everything behind and just come and start something, just from a startup in another country. But हमारा पास कोई रास्ता नहीं था ना. हमारा लड़ाई दो चीज के साथ, एक तो जिंदा रहने के लिए, एक और जिंदगी करने के लिए बात था. हम उधर कोशिश नहीं की. Actually, we were not thinking that we should just make the just everyone was trying to just rescue themselves. And when the Taliban was come there, I just came out here, and like after at least 8 or 9 months, I just tried to have start my work back, because Zan TV was the only platform that you can just raise the voice of women. We can raise like we can defend from the difficulties and the issues that the Afghan women they're facing, especially in the current situations. I know sometimes it's not very productive, but at least as a person that we have responsibility for our countries, we need to just stand. We need to just defend from some of the problem and challenges that the Afghan women they're facing. Even this morning, that I was just reading the last statement the Taliban did that they gave us for the girls in the school. They stopped the girls in the schools. They're not allowed them anymore. They should go to school. And that's, like, this is a very small thing, the Afghan women, they should have that, but unfortunately, they're not allowed them. Even they should go to the school. The education that's the rise of, a woman. And, by coming out the Taliban, like everything is it was not easy for every Afghan that they left their countries, but we don't have any other choice. We left the country just because of the situation, what happened in Afghanistan. And we're just settled here. It's in these countries, it take a time that you can just stand on your feet and just do something for your country. But we have a hope, one day we'll come back like strongly, and we should do something different for our country.
But Samar, actually, what is the main reason of this transition period? Taliban came to Kabul, Afghanistan, and उन्होंने सत्ता पर कब्जा किया. अमेरिका ने वापसी की 20 साल के बाद उन्होंने अपनी सेना को वहां से हटाया। लेकिन क्या कोई ऐसा रास्ता नहीं था कि वहां जो पहले सरकार चल रही थी वो वहां रह पाती और अब अमेरिका की जो सेना थी वो वापस ना जाती और तालिबान देश पर कब्जा ना करके जो वहां के मूल बाशिंदे हैं, एक्चुअल जो अफगानीज हैं, वही अपने देश पर कब्जा करके रहते, उनका अधिकार वहां रहता। आपको अपना देश छोड़ कर ना जाना पड़ता, या जो लाखों लोग आज विस्थापित हो गए, शरणार्थी हो गए हैं, रिफ्यूजीज कैंप में रह रहे हैं दुनिया भर में, क्योंकि अफगानिस्तान का एक अलग कल्चर रहा है और उसकी एक संस्कृति है, वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग, द कल्चर एंड डाइवर्सिटी। तो क्या ऐसी वजह इन 20 सालों में रही, क्योंकि कुछ साल पहले जब रशिया ने वहां एंटर किया था तो हालात उसके भी काबू से बाहर चले गए थे। उसके बाद फिर नई सरकार फाउंड हुई और फिर अमेरिका आ गया, लेकिन उसके भी काबू से हालात बाहर चले गए। तो ऐसी क्या वजह हैं जो अफगानिस्तान में, पुराना अफगानिस्तान और अफगानिस्तान के लोग अपने कल्चर, अपने वहां की जो पुरानी सभ्यता है उसको बचा कर रख नहीं पा रहे हैं?
Actually, one of the big issues that we have, like in last 20 years, that it was the warlord. By coming of the Taliban, if we can just see that, the most of the issue that we had, that it was like the previous administration that we had. It was not only the Ghani administration; it was just from the beginning that, when it was like in 2001, the Bonn agreement which was signed between the warlords and also the other the NATO's and the Europe's countries. But we as Afghan, we say all the times that it's our own fault. It's not actually the US. It's not the other countries. When if you be honest for your countries, and no one can do anything for you. But if you be, we had always a problem with our leaders. We have always problem with the warlords, that we have seen that in the last 20 years, because there was a big distance, between the nation and the government. And when there's a distance between nation and government, this is always makes up problems, because the Taliban, even most of the Taliban, that they were like, they were not the Taliban, they were regular peoples, but when they during the operations and so many other things, like on their houses, on their families, on their kids, on their, and these all kind of things, they make them Talib, and then they came back very strongly. Of course, we know that there was a like support of the other countries behind of them also. And because especially in the last 5 years, the people, the nation, they were had a big problem with the administration that we have, with the system that we have. By one person we cannot bring a changing. Even in administration, if we just talk about the President Ashraf Ghani, he was just trying his best, to do something, different. But it's sometimes it was a very difficult for him, even also, because there was a lot of other people that there was around the administration, that they were not very honest and transparent, with the systems, with the peoples, and also with the governments. And all these mistakes was happening. That now this is the result that what we are seeing, that the Taliban, that they came and they took over that. But when there was a peace negotiation, they start like between the Taliban and the Afghan government or the United States, but there was a one very main point, like on a daily basis during the fight, at least we lost like more than 200 or 500 or more than that. The soldiers, the national armies, like these were the every day that it was died from this side. And also from the other side, there was also Afghan, that they lost their life, and these are the big issues. The only things that I'm so happy for it, at least, that now in Afghanistan, that we don't have any more fight, that we are not, actually the people, they're not lost in their lives. We know that uh, there's a lot of things is happening now also. There's a lot of things should be not happen now, because at least for the woman rights, the education, and most of the other things is very important. The Taliban, they should focus on that. But in terms of the administration that they have, or in terms of at least, all over the Afghanistan's the control they have, like you can, even with some of the people, when we contact them and they said you can just now travel to the most of the provinces, that you cannot face with any kind of issues. But like in the previous administration, that these things was like, it was a very tough for the people that just travel to some of the provinces or far distance. And these are some of the points that you can compare with the previous one, previous administration and now. But by the mistake that the during the Ashwani times that they made, and that's the reason what has happened. When there's the distance between the nation and the administration, and this is it's how happening.
But Samar, what is the major cause? What is the basic reason of this distance between the administration and the masses, the nation and the people? कि कोई भी सरकार जो वहां काम कर रही है, ऐसे क्या वजह रही कि वो जो एक कोलैबोरेशन होता है, कॉम्बिनेशन होता है, या जो एक सामंजस्यता होती है सरकार और आम आदमी के बीच में, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के बीच में, कि वो कभी भी वहां बन नहीं पाया, और जिसकी वजह से 20 साल पहले जिस तालिबान का कब्जा था, उसके बाद फिर से वो सरकार अपनी बनाकर वहां काबिज हो जाते हैं, और जिसे पाकिस्तानी मुल्क पड़ोस जो है वो मान्यता भी देता है, एक्सेप्ट भी करता है, और दूसरे लोग भी उसको सपोर्ट करने के लिए खड़े हो जाते हैं, स्पेशली अरेबिक सम कंट्रीज। तो बेसिक जो वजह है, व्हाट इज द बेसिक रीजंस ऑफ दिस डिस्टेंस बिटवीन द नेशन एंड द पीपल एंड द मासेस?
The main point is, that there always it's happening, because in administration that we have, that they're not, the right people that they're putting on the, and, just, they're giving the chair for them. That's the most important things, the people that they're in the systems or with the government, this is all that they're making an issue. This, they make the distance between the nation and also between the administrations. During the President Ashwani times, one of the main reason was that this just was a small group of number of the peoples that they like take over all the system in their hand, and step by step, just they were just controlling everything by themselves, and they make the a big distance between the nation and also between the government. And that was, one of the main reasons. And the other reason that we have, that unfortunately, these jihadi leaders or the warlords, we can say to them, in the last 40 years, they never, try to just be, a very, honest with the nations. They never try to do something positive for these countries. All the times, they try to do deal, like, for their own benefits. They never, think about the nation benefits. When you don't have, like an honest, teams like in the government, when you don't have a good leadership teams in your systems, that you are facing always with the issues and problem, and that's what we face. And the main result is, I think, in Afghanistan, that we just lost all the achievement that we have in the last 20 years. These were the warlords, jihadi leaders, and most of the other teams that they were just involved in the systems. And the nations all the times, they were in a worse kind of situation, that we have seen that just a few groups of the peoples, they had like $1 billion. They were just playing with that, and the people, even they don't have the foods. The people was but we have seen that there was a lot of issues and problems during the previous administration, that the people they face with that. But these are all the results, that's what we are seeing now.
But do you feel, Samar, when the Russia attack on Ukraine, President Zelensky is still there. He didn't run away from the country, but Afghani president, when the Taliban came and entered in the Kabul, he ran. आपको क्या लगता है कि अगर प्रेसिडेंट ने थोड़ी सी हिम्मत दिखाई होती और हम डटे रहते, तो अफगानिस्तान पर, काबुल पर तालिबान का कब्जा नहीं होता और अफगानिस्तान रहता? तो क्या एक मिसाल नहीं बनती? डू यू फील कि प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ अफगानिस्तान वो एक भगोड़े साबित हुए संकट में जब आतंक आया? अदरवाइज जेलेंस्की जैसे आज डटे हैं रशिया के सामने, वो डटे रह सकते थे। तो एक एग्जाम्पल क्रिएट होता अफगानिस्तान में, और मे बी कि शायद तालिबान उस तरह से अंदर नहीं घुस पाता।
Actually, there's a two different story with the Zelensky, that with the Ukraine, the administration that Zelensky has, the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Interior, everyone, they're very, honest for their country, and they're very honest for the administration. That we are seeing that Zelensky is not alone, that all the times you have all the ministers around the hands and all the administration that they have, and you have like a even the nations there stand with their president. What happened in our countries before the Taliban was coming? Most of the people, they were against the government, they was against the systems, because I told you, because the distance which was with among the people, the nations, and the government, that was the main reason. That the President Ashraf Ghani, even he couldn't actually believe that if he can stay, what will be happen. But if the President Ashraf Ghani was staying in Kabul, and I can tell you honestly, it might be like there's a big things will happen, that even because previously we just experienced, what happened with Dr. Najibullah, the former president of Afghanistan,
Yes.
and the former president of Afghanistan, the Taliban, when they arrive when they are arriving, if any administration changing, if the new teams arrive, anything is possible to happen. Anything is possible to happen. They killed Dr. Najibullah, but after the 10 or 15 years, even the Taliban was giving the statement that it was not happening, by them, so it was by mistake. And other teams, they killed them, or any other story they made that. For the President Ashraf Ghani, it might happen the same things, and then who will take the result? What this guy did, at least, because the Kabul was very important, because a small capital. In 20 years, we had a lot of development and everything, and if he was there, if there was like there was a fight like inside the Kabul happen, and then like everything will become destroyed. The same things with Ukraine, you can see now, like, it's a lot of things to destroy, but the Ashraf Ghani, he left the countries. It's also very difficult to judge, that he did that, he took the right decision or wrong, but against the nations, that all the times that the nations, they're all the times they're asking this question, why he left the countries. But in my opinion, when the Ashraf Ghani left, it was maybe the right things that he did, or it's the bad things. But it's difficult to judge honestly that if he left, it's good or bad. In my opinion, it was for the goodness of the country and for the nations, that he left the country. If the fight was started in Kabul, then it was very difficult, to just stop, like another war will start like inside the Kabul, like the small capital. It was not easy.
समर हामिद, अफगानिस्तान छोड़ने के बाद तालिबान ने सबसे ज्यादा आपको तलाश किया, क्योंकि आप अकेले वहां ऐसे पत्रकार थे जो एक चैनल के साथ वहां उनके खिलाफ खड़े हुए थे। तो अभी अमेरिका बसने के बाद क्या आपसे किसी ने कोई कांटेक्ट करने की कोशिश की, ढूंढने की कोशिश की? अब आप पहली बार जब किसी चैनल पर बात करने के लिए आए हैं, तो जाहिर है कि पब्लिश होने के बाद आप लोगों के सामने भी होंगे, आपकी बातें भी सुनी जाएंगी। तो अपने देश में वहां जो आपके सरकार है इस वक्त, दो चीजें हैं उसमें। एक, आप जैसे लोगों को तलाश कर वो उनके साथ क्या सलूक करेंगे ये कोई नहीं जानता। दूसरी बात कि जहां जहां अफगानिस्तान की एम्बेसीज हैं दूसरे मुल्कों में, वहां भी अब अफगानिस्तान का चेहरा बदल गया है। तो वहां एक दूसरी सरकार आई है, ये नजरिया नहीं है। वहां ये है कि एक आतंकवादी जिहादी ग्रुप ने जो है अफगानिस्तान पर कब्जा किया है। तो काफी सारी चीजें इस वक्त लोगों के जहन में घूम रही हैं। आप क्या समझते हैं कि अगर आप अफगानिस्तान अब लौटते हैं या आपसे उनका कोई कांटेक्ट होता है, तो क्या चीज बदलेगी आपके साथ? और आने वाले समय में अफगानिस्तान में ये जो मुल्क अब जो एक संस्कृति रही है, एक इतिहास रहा है पुराने समय से, उसका नया जो चेहरा है वो कैसा होगा दुनिया के सामने? दो सवाल एक साथ पूछे हैं मैंने।
बिल्कुल ठीक है। Actually, the point is that it is not only against me, that it was, most of the Afghan, the journalists and also the media entrepreneurs in Afghanistan. We have seen that they really face with a lot of challenges and issues during the Taliban administration. We were witness for that. Sorry. we were just witness, for some of the TV owners, that they faced with the problem with the Taliban administration. They took them and they just started investigations. They beat, some of the journalists, we are witness the current situation of the media in Afghanistan, more than 1960 or 65. Just, the TV station just closed, and I think more than 100 radio stations and all the other media outlets has closed in Afghanistan during the Taliban administration. And even some few the medias that they have not broadcasting, and they need to just, according to the policy of the Taliban, sorry, they need to just broadcast, or they need to just just make the programs and everything. For me it was I had so many other issues, because even in the previous also in the past, because the Zan TV it was a kind of platform that is not acceptable for the Taliban. Even that when we are seeing the Taliban, visions against even with the girls for the schools, we have seen the ones in the work, and of course, if they're not allowed the women for the schools and work, and then how they will, just give allowed, Zan TV should be just do their work in the Kabul. It's not easy for them. But when we just left the country, I thought, there will be a lot of things. It's not easy that we have seen that, what's happened now with the journalists in Afghanistan, what happened, with the systems. Would, for your second questions, that what will be for the future that we can come back, to Afghanistan. The big hope that I have, if the Taliban, they want to just be this systems or this, their administration will continue. The only ways that they can just, just to live the people, that they should just come close to the administration or the government. They should not make, these distance, that they same the other, the government or the other administration, they repeat that. And, it's not easy for me to just, go back to Afghanistan, like in this kind of system. It's unbelievable that you cannot believe on them, for now, what will be happen. But we have a really hope, for the future of the country, because as a person that we belongs to that country, we were born in that country, and we have, lots of memories, and we had, great achievements, like even our father and families. And we need to have, I really hope, for the future, we should have an active role in our systems and our countries to help other Afghans, at least to raise their voice, if anything that I can do as a responsible person for my nation, I will be stand for it.
समर, आपके फादर जो हैं वो अफगानी आर्मी में ऑफिसर रहे हैं, ब्रिगेडियर रहे हैं, और आप एक पत्रकार रहे हैं, तो वहाँ जो सरकार बनी है उसकी छवि नेगेटिव सरकार और टेररिस्ट गवर्नमेंट की है, तालिबान जिहादी ग्रुप एक रहा है। तो क्या वहाँ से आपके आने के बाद जो अभी एट प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट है, दे ट्राई टू कॉन्टेक्ट यू समथिंग लाइक दैट, और या वहाँ जो आपके लोग हैं उन्होंने आपसे बात करने की कोशिश की है?
Actually, before that, the Taliban regime sort of their thing all over Afghanistan. My daddy moved to Turkey, and he Turkey, yeah, and and that was one of the good things that he just moved there. What happened, when the Taliban come on the first day in Kabul, I was I left the same day, my house, everything, and I just called to the most of my staff and just told them run away. But I was the witness, for some of my staff, even for most of my families, and also they move out from Afghanistan. Now he's injured, and there was a lot of investigation happened regarding some of his previous work, and our offices become closed in Kabul. And these are the things which is happening, and we left everything. But regarding if someone asked me or not, that was, we had that threat from the first day that I was when the Taliban was come, and we feel that we will face with some big issues. This is how we just left that, and we changed the numbers and everything, and we just come here. And also I didn't try to just contact with some of my colleagues and friends, I didn't try to do that, because I know the current situation was it was not safe for them as well. But yeah, that's what happened, you know.
तो अभी जो जैन टीवी है, जो चैनल है आपका, वहां अमेरिका में उसका नया एस्टेब्लिशमेंट आप कर रहे हैं, क्या तैयारियां हैं उसके लिए, और नए सिरे से काम शुरू होगा व्हेन यू स्टार्टिंग, तो व्हाट डू यू फील कि उसको अब कैसा होना चाहिए? पहले जैसे अफगानिस्तान में वो काबुल में काम करता था, या यहाँ से कुछ बदलेगा?
You know, actually, the Zan TV because it was a very clear platform for the most of the Afghan women, even and outside Afghanistan. We start our work now just from the Kabul as well. You know, just we make a very small teams and we just get the start from Kabul, but we are not trying to do anything, you know, like against the policy that they have now in Afghanistan. So we just most of the Zan TV staff, they just settled in Canada, in Europe, and also in the USA, where all the teams they're trying to just we should just start the Zan TV back, and I'm just working here with a lot of legal documents of the Zan TV should complete it. Very soon we will have a strong comeback, and all the Zan TV teams so with a very strong vision, and very soon inshallah we will have a very productive roles in Afghanistan and outside Afghanistan, all the Zan TV team as well. And we have a different planning that we should just like worldwide, the Zan TV should just we should come back very strongly, but it's take a time. It's not easy that we should just set everything very fast, but we will come back very strongly inshallah, and we will have a very
अफगानिस्तान के जो दोस्त हैं समर, जो पड़ोसी मुल्क हैं, और जो दुनिया भर में जिस समय अफगानिस्तान संकट चल रहा था और सरकार बदल रही थी, हालात बदल रहे थे, और बहुत सालों से अफगानिस्तान एक दंश झेल रहा है, एक तरह का संकट झेल रहा है, तो अभी जो पड़ोसी मुल्क हैं और बाकी के देश हैं जो अफगानिस्तान के बहुत अच्छे दोस्त रहे हैं, उनसे आप क्या उम्मीद करते हैं कि उनके रवैये में या उनकी डिप्लोमेटिक जो पॉलिसीज हैं वो अब अफगानिस्तान के लिए बदली हुई होंगी, जाहिर है, बट आप क्या सोचते हैं कि वो अब किस रूप में देखी जानी चाहिए?
As an Afghan, like 80 to 85% of most of the Afghans, we have a big problems with our neighbors, especially with the Pakistan. I can just point the name. And, one of the main reasons that most of Afghans, even they're against the Taliban or something, that just because of, but they like they're involved with so many things with the Pakistan. And about the relation of the countries, it will be very good, if they should just, leave each country. Like we are good, to have, good, political relations with other countries. But sometimes, that, the neighbors, the close neighbors, they're trying to, for their own benefits, anything that is happening for their own benefits. And I really hope, the Taliban administration, they should be just like, very they should like at least do something that it should be like for the benefit of our countries, not for the others. From what we accept from the Indians, and of course we have a big hope that the refugee now we have in Africa and in India, at least they should be like all the times India was a good friend for the Afghan nations, and the Afghan peoples, they always, just had just from the long times, we had the good relations with the Indians. And we really hope, the Indian, they should stand with the Afghan refugees. In India, all the time, they should stand with the Afghanistan, with the nations, because that's what, the Afghans, they love, to just have, the good neighbor is always a good, and the bad one is always the bad. And we really hope, that these relations should be continued in a positive way for both countries.
आपको लगता है प्रेसिडेंट अशरफ कहीं भी इस वक्त जहां हैं, कहां हैं, ये सवाल भी हम आपसे पूछ सकते हैं, लेकिन हम ये ना पूछकर ये पूछते हैं कि क्या प्रेसिडेंट अशरफ और बाकी के मुल्क के लोग जो हैं घर वापसी की उम्मीद कर रहे हैं अफगानिस्तान जाने की?
Yeah, one thing I can tell you that most of the politicians and even everyone, they really hope to come back in Afghanistan. I think we were witnessing in some of the statement of the Ashraf Ghani that he says if he come back in Afghanistan, he will have his activities back, but just as a social activist, not as a politician. And there's lots of other the Afghans politicians, they're trying to come back in Afghanistan. They should have that their activities, but it's not easy even for them that they should come back. But on the same sense, we really hope all the Afghans, they should come together. The mistake that they did in the past, they should not repeat it again. And we really hope all the Afghans, they should come together, especially the politicians. And if it's the Taliban administration, is that at least the good things, the one positive things that we have, like on a daily basis, we are not losing like the 500 or 1,000 of at least our young soldiers or any others, but we have seen in last 10 years or last 15 years that we have a lot of kids, they lost their families, lots of, we have seen the women, they lost their husbands, a lot of mothers, they lost their sons, but who's responsible for that? Who will just give the answer for these, widows, or who will be just responsible to just give the answer for these kids that they lost, their parents or the families? And the good thing is, and for me, all the time, which is very just like hopeful for me, at least that there's no more killing. At least the war is stopped in Afghanistan. The message that I have for the most of the Afghan politicians, I really hope they should come back in Afghanistan, and they should just make a good systems with the Taliban administration. They should just, this is in our country at the end of the day.
हम उम्मीद करते हैं समर आप जल्द से जल्द अपने घर वापस लौटे, अफगानिस्तान, अपने मुल्क, और वहां चीजें बदलें। जो महिलाओं की सिचुएशन है, जो हालात हैं, जिसके लिए आप एक आंदोलन चलाते रहे हैं, मिशन चलाते रहे हैं, उसे आप फिर से शुरू करें। वहां शिक्षा का प्रसार हो, इंशाल्लाह एक दिन वो जरूर होगा, समय बदलेगा और आप जल्दी अपने घर वापस लौट सकेंगे। लेकिन हिंदुस्तान आपका दूसरा घर माना जाता है समर, तो आप हिंदुस्तान कब आ रहे हैं?
Oh, I have a big hope, to just come as soon as possible. Inshallah, one day I will be there, and also I will meet my friends again. And that's my wish. India is like always, it's really like our second home, and all the times we have, all of our Indian friends in our hearts. And I really hope, to come back one day to India very soon, inshallah.
आपके परिवार के लिए बहुत शुभकामनाएं, बेस्ट विशेस फॉर योर फैमिली एंड फॉर योर चैनल एंड योर वर्क। और हम उम्मीद करते हैं समर आप जल्द से जल्द घर लौटें, और आपका बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने हमसे बात की, और बहुत जल्द सुबह हमने आपको अमेरिका में उठा दिया ये बातचीत करने के लिए, लेकिन आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत शुक्रिया।
बेस्ट विशेस as well, thank you.
तो ये थे हामिद समर, जिनसे हमने अभी लंबी बातचीत की, और बहुत जल्द ये हिंदुस्तान होंगे हमारे साथ, और हम इनसे फिर एक बार लंबी बातचीत करेंगे। चूंकि हामिद समर के साथ दिल्ली इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल और हिंदुस्तान का बहुत अच्छा ताल्लुकात जो है परसों से रहा है। आप देख रहे हैं दिल्ली इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल का न्यूज चैनल डिफ न्यूज। मैं हूं किशोर पारचा, आप देखते रहिए डिफ न्यूज दिल्ली से। नमस्कार।